Welcome back to the channel where I cover missing persons, unsolved cases, crime news, and more. I'm going to try to cover this case, which I previously covered here on the channel. I believe I have about 8 videos on this. I renamed the playlist, trying to keep the minor, I hate to say private because her name is out there. Newsday and Patchogue Patch and such are trying to keep her name out of it as much as possible in the foregoing future, but it is public, so there is only so much that can be done. This happened in Patchogue, which is on Long Island, New York, in December of 2024. The 14-year-old at the time, we're going to call her EG. She was allegedly picked up from her home on the overnight out in the overnight hours of December 9th, 2024, and then she was brought to an abandoned home in the hometown of Bellport, and she was brought there by one of the suspects, and his name is Alton Harrell. At the time, he was 35. You can see him on the photo. He is in the middle. And he's reportedly been charged with first-degree kidnapping, and he faces life in prison. We are going to look at the charges as well on these folks in E-Track shortly. I'm going to wait for more documents, but a lot of this stuff is pretty sealed, and to be honest with you, I don't want to know the details. I think we have an idea of the horror that EG had to face because, well, this is a kidnapping which led to sex trafficking. And I'm already going to get dinged by YouTube for this particular subject to begin with, but it's reality. It's a sad, horrible reality. And this girl, she faced, 26 days of hell. And thank God her father got a tip, and he was led to her. She was on a yacht, and again, like I said, I covered this on the channel, not long after it happened. But her father, his name is Frank, and he's also very public. He got the tip, and he rescued her, called law enforcement to the scene, and thank the Lord that EG was found. Obviously, she's got a lot of physical, mental, emotional issues to face, but she was found safe. Others have been charged with assault, selling her, uh, you know, rape, again, misdemeanor, endangering the welfare of a child. The charges are immense from all of them. Like I said, some of them have actually gone through and pled to their charges, and they're already serving their time, which is great and fine and all that. So EG is starting to get her justice. I hope that she's doing better, here in August of 2026. But obviously, there's a lot going on. Uh, you know, when you've got all these folks that took you away. It's the holidays of 2024. She was kidnapped and put through an unimaginable hell. So the main suspect, which we covered here pretty extensively, his name is Francis Buckheit. He was 66 years old at the time of her abduction. He's the first one on the photo of all the suspects on the screen. He owned the yacht, and he was going to take her away out of New York, but thank the Lord he was caught. Um he's out being charged with, the big R, kidnapping, uh multiple other charges which we'll go through, but he's got the gall to now have a filing from his attorney to get the charges against him dismissed. And this is according to Newsday, which I obtained through the Patchogue patch. Yeah. So he thinks that all these charges should be dropped. And, if this wasn't such a horrific situation, what happened to EG, it would be so laughable. It really would be. But, he's definitely one of the main abusers, and he was going to take her, to God knows where, really. But his attorney filed a motion this week on his behalf. He's out of East Islip, also requesting his statements to law enforcement and the evidence that was seized from his yacht when they found EG. He wants that to be suppressed. Yeah. I haven't been able to read the actual document, so I'm hoping to get a hold of that. Because I do want to hear why he thinks that all this stuff should be thrown out. I mean, it's just the most ridiculous thing I've heard. Um, the judge just met recently with the attorneys. Out of the 13, there's 9 remaining defendants that it looks like they're going to move forward with outstanding pretrial issues to advance this actual case to trial, probably in 2027. But again, there could be more plea deals. There could be more folks just deciding, you know what, I did it. Let me just serve the time. But he was the first person, Buckheit was the first person that was arrested when when the teen was found on January 3rd of 2025. And then it just skyballed from there. I mean, the amount of scumbags and pervs that law enforcement was able to get from this one case is just astonishing to me. And I learned that Long Island, New York is quite a big area for the sex trafficking industry. It's very, very sad. And I think Miami is another one here in my state. But his attorney, Francis Buckheit, his attorney actually believes that through her own investigation, which she's doing right now, she thinks that she's going to discover information that will assist in exonerating her client. Yeah. So I think that she's either in denial or she just has no idea. But hey, I don't know what to tell you. Now, another of the defendants in this case did recently, she went and pled guilty to the trafficking last Wednesday in connection with the whole situation revolving around EG being kidnapped and found on that yacht after being missing for 25, 26 days um, and being forced to do things with a man in exchange for drugs, among other horrible, horrible things. This is 52-year-old Jacqueline Kaminsky. She pled guilty to the trafficking of a child, promoting prostitution, and endangering the welfare of a child in this case, which prosecutors have said was she was repeatedly assaulted and trafficked while she was missing in that near month. Yeah, it's beyond comprehension. I don't want to read the details, but I do want to know, some of these things, their plea deals as far as that's concerned. But in accordance with Kaminsky's plea deal, she's expected to be sentenced in October. It looks like on October 1st. And it looks like she'll probably get 12 years in prison with 20 years post release supervision. And she's also waiving her right to appeal. So, and I'm assuming she's going to have to testify against the other defendants. But again, I think that she's smart to do that because really, I mean, the evidence is just overwhelming against all these nasty monsters. It really, really is. And again, I just think that every single one of them should just plead and do their time. But that's just not how a lot of these nasty pervs, especially, that's not how they work. So this is E-Track. It does allow me to go through and follow these monsters, pervs, their cases. So I went through and after creating my account, I had an account, but if you don't keep track of at least one open and current case in our active e-track, which is out of New York, they just kind of deactivate your account. So fun times with that. So again, these are all of the defendants. So this is their entire, you can click on each one. It doesn't give me any documents like I stated. So I'm working on getting a hold of what I can. Uh, and I'm sure they'll be highly redacted, which is perfectly fine with me. But we have every single one of them here. We have Deshaun McLean, Bernice Knight, Rebecca Browell, Anthony Wright, and there's Francis Buckheit, which again he's to me he's the main. I think he was one of the bosses or whatever you want to call it. Robert Eccleston, Daniel Soto, Elizabeth Hunter, and there's Jacqueline Kaminsky, who was the most recent one who pled guilty. Ralph Knowles, Daniel Burke, Kevin McDonald, and Alton Harrell. So he was obviously Alton Harrell. We mentioned he was the one who actually took EG on in that fateful night in 2024, right before Christmas time. So let's pull up. We can pull up each one and see what's going on with their cases. You can actually see right here. I don't know if you can see it. I'm gonna try to boost this up for you guys. I know the screen might be super small when I'm moving it over. But most of them have upcoming court appearances. Alton Harrell, he has a court appearance on 9/3. Looks like we do have a few coming up this week. Let's look at Francis because he has a court appearance next week. And it's probably due to his attorney's little motion to try to get his case, thrown out or get evidence thrown out because obviously, you know, he's so innocent and all that. So again, here is the website that this is basically what you get when you're looking up stuff on the web criminal court site through through New York State. Appearances. Let's take a look here. They had one that was adjourned. They have a lot here considering it's been going on since the beginning of 2025. So here is the current one that is coming up. 8/26/2026, 9 a.m. So we will definitely keep an eye on that one, considering his attorney. Like I said, his attorney would like to have his case, get rid of all this evidence and Godspeed to her. That's for sure. But they did file a motion, which I believe that is the actual motion that she filed, which I'm going to work on getting a hold of for us to check it out. So here is his charges. We have one count of use of child sex performance, two counts possessing sexual performance by a child, one count operating MV back. Oh, okay, looks like must be like a DUI or something. Yeah, there's another DWI. Then you've got two more counts of arrest in a manner injuring a child under 17. Then you've got another R charge, kidnapping, first degree physical injury, another kidnapping, second sex child trafficking, and another big R charge. So, but his top charge is the kidnapping, which is sad because I think that the other stuff should be big, but I think that that just carries more weight because it's a first degree, whereas some of the others are not first degree felonies. So we shall see. And of course, he's been arraigned and he pled not guilty to everything. Yeah. So we will see him in court next week. And also looks like Rebecca Browell will be in court next week. See what's going on with her case right now. So here is her charges. She's just charged, looks like, with the act in manner injuring a child under 17. So she withdrew a plea. So I guess she had a plea, or they withdrew her plea, and she's been arraigned, and she pled guilty. So it looks like she's probably gonna be going through that. Let me see if it actually shows that it's a sentencing, or what exactly this is. 824 adjournment. Not really sure what she's going to be in for, because it looks like I'm a little not sure what some of these mean. There was a sentencing hearings back in December, but it does look like if it got withdrawn, I don't know if she withdrew her plea, or or the state withdrew it. My assumption would be that she withdrew her guilty plea. But let's see. Adjourned reports, investigation ordered, certificate of compliance, none filed, plea withdrawn, pled guilty, bail, remanded without bail. So that's another one we have to see what's going on Monday. Keep an eye on Newsday and Patch on Patch to see what's going on with her charges. Because I thought she was one. She was one of the nine, well, one of the handful anyway, that actually pled out and she was done. But that doesn't look like it's necessarily the case as far as that's concerned. So let's see. And like I said, we have Rebecca next week. We have Francis. Let's see who's also okay. Daniel Burke also has an appearance on Monday as well, the 24th. And Daniel's got quite a few charges against his butt too. He's got the act in a manner injuring a child under 17, the big R of a child under 18, kidnapping, first degree, and yeah, again, I think because that's a first degree charge, that's how that becomes a top charge the um, over the R and all that sort of stuff. Another kidnapping in the second, R of a child under 18, and then we have another of sexual performance under 18 and possible sexual performance by a possession of sexual performance by a child. Yeah, all nasty, pervy, nasty people. No motions happening right now, and it's probably going to say the same thing. Yeah, adjournment. So again, he's also due in court with Judge Karen Wiltis on 8/24 at 9 a.m. So we will have Daniel and Rebecca in court on the same day. So we'll see what happens with those two. Then 2 days later, Francis and his attorney, will try to get his charges withdrawn or evidence taken away. Yeah, not gonna happen, buddy. And then we got Alton Harrell. He's actually due back in court on September 3rd. And he was the one that actually kidnapped E.G. So his charges, see, I knew his charges were much more than the one or two that was originally stated early on. So he's got a lot. Obviously, the kidnapping in the first degree is the top charge down here, skipping down. But he's got patronizing prostitution, burglary of the second degree dwelling, petty larceny, are of an actor under 18. Looks like injury of a child under 17. Another R of a child, injuring a child under 17. Kidnapping of the second degree, kidnapping the first degree, which is what we said was the main top charge. Another R for under 18, and then aggravated patronizing of a minor. So yeah, he's a nasty one. Yeah. So he's due back in court on September 3rd. So they're almost getting to be a little back to back, and then looks like after that we won't have a lot of stuff. So we'll have the four of them, well, three of them next week, and then the following week we have Alton, and then after that, actually no, we look like we also have Ralph Knowles. He's also due in court on 9/2, and his charges, he's got four. Act in a manner of injuring a child under 17, forcible touch, R of an actor under 18 and sexual abuse at the third degree. His top charge is the second degree R of the under 18. So that is his top charge. And yeah, I think in New York, it just seems like they're all just listed as conference and adjournment. So I'm not really sure, but I'm not as familiar with the way that they put some of their cases. So it's a little different depending upon the state and the counties and that sort of stuff. So we got those folks. Let's see who else is due in court soon. Looks like on the 14th of September, Anthony Wright, he's due in court. Then Bernice Knight, also due in court on the 15th. Then you've got the rest of them. They start piling in as well. On 10-1, Deshaun McLean, uh, Robert Eccleston, 928, Daniel Soto, 929, Elizabeth Hunter, she's due in on 925, and that's when Jacqueline Kaminsky's due in 10-1 for her sentencing. And then Kevin McDonald, he's due in on 10-14. Haven't heard as much about him. Let's see. Did he plead? He may have pled. Okay, he's charged with the R of an actor under 18. And let's see. Well, he's, like I said, he's due in on the 14th. So, order of protection. So I'm not really sure. I think he's one that pled out. So that may be a sentencing. We'll have to look into that one further as well. And if you're a local that's been paying attention to this case, especially folks in Long Island and such, you guys get all the, all the stuff in your local paper and can let me know, fill in any of the details I don't have. But there you go. There's pretty much the 13 monsters slash pervs, dirt bags in this case. So I feel bad for EG. I truly, truly do. The one good thing that did happen was she was found, and she was found safe. I know when the missing flyer went out in December of 2024, and I heard of it and talked about it here. I know that was it was a blessing that she was found, and it's just horrific that she had to experience this close to a month of hell because of these monsters on the screen. Each and every one of them caused her pain physically, mentally, emotionally, and God knows what else she's had to go through. And I don't know if folks remember, she also was put in a hospital, and she was assaulted there as well. So as much as I love New York and I have a lot of family up in Long Island, and I miss going up there to visit, Long Island's got a lot of problems when it comes to this trafficking stuff. It's a sad, sad thing, and it just seems like, I don't know, is it getting any better? I don't know. It feels like, you get this group of dirt bags, but there's others behind it. So all law enforcement can really do, I guess, is just to keep up the fight, and hopefully parents are listening to their kids. They're educating their children on this, because it is unfortunately a risk, uh, and not only anyway, but in this age of social media everywhere, I think it's even worse. Folks being kidnapped, trafficked, you don't really know who you're talking to when you're on the internet. So, again, I just pray that EG is starting to, she's starting to recover. I mean, it's been just, about a year and a half. I hope that she's in a much better place, and I hope she's still getting the help that she needs through therapy, or whatever she needs from her family and her loved ones to get through all this. And I'm sure that the fact that this case is still ongoing doesn't help her at all. But hopefully it gives her some solace, some feeling of justice once each and every one of them um, has to suffer behind bars. But let me know you guys' thoughts on this one. Please check out the playlist if you're not as familiar with the case. But with that said, I hope you have a great rest of the day. And most of all, stay safe.